how's it going? Most of you guys know through my social media that my dad passed away, and I just wanted to make a video about just coping with loss and dealing with loss, especially people that are really close to you. Before I met Matt, I never really had any close people pass away, and he has a lot of experience with that, unfortunately. And then we had the death of my uncle, who was really close to me. He was like a father to me. That was 5 years ago. And then a couple years ago, my brother-in-law passed away that we were very close with. And then now my dad, who was very unexpectedly passed away. So we have a lot of experience with dealing with loss. And unfortunately, it's just a reality of life and something that everyone has to go through. And I know that it's not going to get any easier, and all these painful circumstances are just going to keep happening through our lives, and it's just a part of life, and it makes us who we are and just builds our character and how we deal with the stress and loss and how we cope and take care of ourselves and be there for people that we love. Definitely the first few times that I went through it, it was a little harder, but honestly, now that I've been through it a couple times, I feel a little more prepared just because I know how I handled it the last couple times. And fortunately, I was there already married with Matt both those times, so it really did help to have somebody to talk to and that understands exactly what you're going through. It also helps if you have a really cute baby. That's something that helps a lot, is looking at my daughter and thinking about how much she looks like me when I was a baby. And that's the times that I got to spend with my dad, was when I was a little girl. Oh, hi, baby D. Say hello. Say hello. So another thing that really helps is accepting help from people. Matt and I are both really, like strong people. We don't really like to bother, hassle other people, but when his brother passed away a couple years ago, our whole church community and our friends came and offered help. My sister came all the way she was in Virginia at that time, but she stayed with us for a while, and just accepting help from people that want to pour their support and their love. We were really open to that, and I honestly think that really made a world's difference. So thank you to all those people in our lives that really stepped up and really showed us so much love and support, and I really do appreciate everyone's thoughts and prayers and your condolences that you're expressing on social media. I really, truly do appreciate and thank you for those. And some people have questioned, should you post something like that on social media, that your close relative passed away while you're grieving and all that? But honestly, it's up to it's up to the person. For me personally, I think getting support from people that you know and people that you love can be very helpful. And it's a good way to get the word out about the news. And so that is definitely one coping mechanism, is just support from other people, support from friends. And one thing that for me personally that really helps is to be around people that you love and be around people. I don't really, right when something bad happens, it's not really good to be alone. So the past few days I've been on bereavement, and I've just been spending time with my siblings, my husband, and my mom. And just, obviously, there's like the stages of loss, and there's like the whole denial, which actually went by pretty fast. I don't know, I guess you just go through those phases like interchangeably, at any time. But just being around the people that I love and people that understand what our relationship was like, and really help a lot. Another thing too is make sure to take care of yourself. I definitely have no appetite when these things happen, but it's really good to take care of yourself and to get outside, get some fresh air, pray, meditate, pray with other people. And also, if you're up for exercising, that also helps me to feel better. So I went for my sister and I went to the park to just talk things out, especially if you're the one that has to make all the logistical plans. But luckily I have my brothers and sisters who are stepping up also, and making a lot of plans and spent some time together at the park yesterday, and I was able to just do like little bursts of jogging just to get those endorphins up, make yourself feel better. So with everything that's been happening, it's actually made me realize how much we have to appreciate life and everybody, not take relationships for granted, and to spend time with our family we have, even though, not every family is perfect. And like I said, my dad and our relationship was never really perfect. There's a lot of things that choices that he made that I was definitely not a fan of, and a lot of choices that I made that I'm sure he wasn't a fan of. But in the end, it's all about family. And I think that now more than ever, it's a call to action to actually be there make effort to be there for our siblings and our immediate family, and for Matt and I both, to be there for both of our immediate families, and to not really hold a lot of things but not hold grudges for too long if they've wronged us, and to not take things too personally. If family's family, and if they say something that really irritates you or like makes you unhappy, then just try to understand them and try to let it go sooner rather than later, because you never really know when it's your time to go, and you just want to make your family feel loved all the time, so that they don't have to question, or that they can feel your love in case something happens to them or to you. And I'm sure that my dad did feel loved, and he knows how much we did appreciate him and respect him, especially in his final days. Another really important thing to mention is that to be respectful of the way other people grieve. Initially, honestly, like for me, I'm not a fan of funerals, and I personally don't want a funeral when I die, just because I don't want people like staring over my dead body, just when I'm all dead and carcassed out and whatnot. But respecting that, some people grieve differently. I honestly don't really like seeing dead bodies like at funerals and stuff. Like, I'll go to pay my respects, but I don't really look, because for my uncle especially, like, I would rather have my final memories of him be when he was alive and all the great times that we spent together, because he was like my dad. And I don't really like that memory of them laying there helplessly, like just their dead body, when I know that their souls are in heaven and off, doing something way better than here on earth. So I like to think of that. Some people think that that's disrespectful. Some people may have opinions that, when you get the news that your family member died, that you would just drop everything and fly across the country right away. And honestly, like, when I first found out that my dad passed away, I didn't really want to go to the Philippines initially, and it's because I have my daughter. I know there's a lot of things to think about. I had my job. I just came back from a leave. There's other people at my work that also need time off, and it was a really hard decision, and it wasn't a decision that I could make right on the spot. And I feel like some of my family members were a little more upset that I wasn't having that immediate response to want to buy a ticket to go to the Philippines at this drop of a hat. And having gone through a couple of loss already, I just feel like, well, you should never make somebody feel bad for the way that they're reacting, or if someone is a little, not on the same page as you with the grieving, then you should never, judge someone or make them feel bad, especially when they're already grieving. And to be respectful. Some people like to be more private. Obviously, I'm making a public video, so I'm, sharing with you guys what I'm going through right now as I'm going through it. Some people will be more of a mess, some will be less. Some people take time before they actually accept it and actually can really grieve for what has happened, especially if you are the one making the plans. For example, Matt couldn't really fully grieve until everything was done and said, and it's hard to grieve sometimes just because of different responsibilities or circumstances that you're currently in. So sometimes you go through phases of, you're strong for like a couple days or a couple hours, and then you start having memories, or you start talking with people about the memories that you have with that person, and you start, that's how I was too with my uncle, is that I would be okay for like a minute and like have peace, and then go back and forth with being really sad and like crying, and then go back to being okay. And that's okay. I think that honestly, like, I think takes many years, if ever, to fully heal and to go away. I think that it doesn't ever really go away. You just learn to live with it and to learn to cope with it and develop defense mechanisms. And honestly, like, I think that does play a role in the person that you become once you go through like pain, and really leaning and pressing towards God and the Lord and His Word, His promises to all of us, His plans for us, and being reassured. I listen to a lot of worship music that really helps me. And there's a song, I can't remember what it's called, but basically a song is about feeling God's embrace. And when you're down and out, and I thought about was God embracing you, and just getting comfort from that, it really helped. I consider myself a really lucky person just because I have had a lot of father figures in my life. My dad, my biological dad that just passed away, and my brothers have been, when I was growing up, they were a big part of fathering me and being there for me, and as well as my Uncle Danny, he was there for me. And since '97, my mom remarried, and my stepdad has been my dad. My stepdad, I honestly call him Dad, and he has been there for us, me, my family, and he's like the best grandpa ever. And so blessed that God gave us so many father figures in my life, or God gave me so many father figures in my life, and that each one of them contributed to who I am in a different way. And yeah, I'm just really thankful and blessed. Not everybody has that, I understand, and so just really thankful. Honestly, a lot of this is supporting my brothers and sisters, because they spent way more time with my dad when they were younger than I did. I lived with my dad for 7 years, a baby through 7 years old, while my mom was working really hard here in America to provide for us too. Then I came here, and my brothers and sisters stayed back in the Philippines, and they were there, through their college years. So they definitely have a lot more memories with him. And so I feel like a lot of my support is going towards my brothers and sisters, who I know are having a way tougher time with this than I am. And just a little background, my biological dad was living in the Philippines. We were able to petition him to come to the U.S., and he was here he came here about maybe 10 or 11 years ago. And it just wasn't for him. I mean, he grew up in the Philippines, and he always had businesses his whole life. He was like a jeepney driver. Then he had many, many businesses, that he had in the Philippines. So coming to America, I think, was way too big of a culture shock for him. Like the whole working hourly and all that. And, it just wasn't his style, I think, that he was used to. So unfortunately, he chose to go back to the Philippines because that's where he was more comfortable being. And so the last few years of our relationship was actually, we didn't really talk very much. And honestly, I was holding a tiny grudge against him for 4 of those 5 years, of the last 5 years, because he didn't come to my wedding, which to me was very hurtful, and it took me a long time to get over. He didn't come to my wedding, and to me, I felt like, oh, well, he was able to suck it up for my brothers and sisters and be there uncomfortable with my mom and my stepdad. He couldn't do it this one last time for me. And we held a grudge against each other for a very long time. Well, I held it against him, and he asked me for forgiveness, and finally, thank God, March this year, I finally truly, truly in my heart forgave him. I knew it was the right thing to do, but, it's just really hard situation. I know, obviously, the right thing to do is to forgive him, but I didn't truly, truly let it go until March of this year. So I reached out to him via Facebook Messenger, and I told him that I love him and that I forgive him. Actually, I still have the message here, which thank God that I do have the message. So in March this year, I sent him a Facebook message and I said, "Hi D," I called him D for daddy. And my mom, we call me for mommy. Anyway, I said, "Hi D, hope you feel better soon and I'm praying for you. Love, Elaine," because I guess he was sick at that time. He said, "Thanks anak, hope napatawad mo na ako sa naging pagkukulang ko sa'yo. Miss ko na kayo." He said, "Thanks, daughter, child, and I hope that you've forgiven me for all my shortcomings, and I miss you guys. And wish your grandma a happy birthday for me." And I said, "Yes, I've already forgiven you." And he said, "Maraming salamat, mahal na mahal ko kayo." He said, "Thank you so much, daughter," basically, "and I love you guys very much." And we wished each other happy Easter, sent him some pictures of Maddie. But that was really the last time that I had like any kind of conversation like that. Otherwise, it was mainly in a group text between my siblings and him. And his last message to the group was, I love you guys very much, and that Merry Christmas. And that was on Christmas. It was Sunday here evening. We were in Texas when I got it because AJ read it on my phone, said Lola Bobby's wishing us a Merry Christmas. But I didn't get to my phone because I was carrying the baby and I was around other family members with babies, so it was really hard to get on my phone and wish people Merry Christmas. But that is the long and short of our relationship, and I pray that he is resting in peace. And we're going to be going to the Philippines on Monday to have his funeral and to say our final goodbyes and respects, and mainly to spend time with my brothers and sisters, my mom, just being together and sharing memories of him and praying for him. And I'm just really excited to be able to spend that time with them and be there for them, because sometimes when the moment passes, it's hard to grieve on your own, and it's nice to have the means and the resources to be able to go there and be there for everybody and to say our goodbyes and final respects and stuff. So with that, I am actually going to leave you guys, and I thank you so much for watching and for listening to this. I have like a weightlifting videos that I filmed last week that I'll probably upload to, and I hope that I'm just going to be taking a little break right now, honestly, from just training the next couple weeks. I'm just going to try to exercise as much as I can, but in a couple weeks I'll be ready to get back into the gym and to see people and to train and all that. But I will definitely keep you guys posted, and I'll be making more videos because I think that it's helpful for me, and I would love to look back on this in the future and just see all this, what I was going through, and that I'm thankful that I can share this with you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.